around me when I drive and record, but this is very important, and I'm safe. I got my phone stabilized, all right? Looking straight ahead. I just got out of a meeting. I'm in healthcare, so this is about health and medicine and stuff, so this is going to bore y'all. Change it now. I got out of a meeting because in the state of Georgia, all the healthcare institutions are being mandated by the federal government to vaccinate their employees. Not with just any vaccines that actually work or that matter, but with the flu vaccine. And it's now reached my hospital to where if you do not get it, you're terminated. Yes, it is against our constitutional rights. Yes, it's completely absurd, but it's coming from Obamacare. So I just came out of this meeting. I said no to my director, so it got kicked up higher up in our company, and I had to go sit down kind of like with a board of people. It wasn't really that many, but still, it was still me against them. And it was nice, and they were nice, and everything was great, and, they explained to me just what I already knew. This is coming down from the government. 90% of the employees have to be vaccinated, or they do not get paid Medicare and Medicaid payments. We are the guinea pigs. And as I was talking to them, first of all, I want you guys to know there is no way to make a vaccine for the flu. It's not possible. The flu is a RNA replicating virus. Because it replicates RNA, it is sloppy with it, and it never replicates itself the same way. Every single time it multiplies, it changes itself. And the CDC, the scientists, biologists, there is no tracking this down. Every single season, every single time you get the flu, it's different from the last time you got the flu. Hopefully you never get it. Hopefully you don't. But here they are pressing a vaccine that is impossible to make a vaccine to the flu, impossible to make, with massive amounts of detergents and preservatives. You've got Fluad that's being pushed this year for 2015, 2016. It's got 14 different crazy things in it. So not only are you fighting 3 live viruses that no longer exist, you're having to fight crazy detergents and astringents just to keep this virus alive and preserved. Then they give me an insert. They said, okay, we understand. And I feel bad for them because these are people just like you and me who put on their pants, who go to work, who have to put food on their table, who have kids. I felt compassion in there. Must have been from the Lord. I really did. There really wasn't any anger. I felt more of compassion because I'm not the only person they're having to talk to about this. This is happening every single day since September the 1st, since they announced this mandatory vaccination. I felt compassion because as they were, I could have sworn I saw tears welling up in somebody's eyes when they say, I lay in bed at night, I stare at the walls, I understand, people's livelihoods are at stake here. I'm telling them that they can't have their freedom, that they have to be injected or else. He's like, I can't stand being that way. He's like, I've never taken a flu shot in my life, but I took it for the first time this year just for the same reason. He's like, I don't want you to think that some people are some magic word you can say that you can't take it and others don't take it. He said, we're all under this together. And this goes back to an earlier video that I made earlier with everything just going to be okay and make America great again. How is that when everyone is losing their jobs because they won't accept communism? So they give me this insert. He says, I want to give you more options. Here's some options here. Here's Fluad. And I said, well, do you have not Fluad, Flu Block is another vaccine that is supposed to be organic, doesn't have as many astringents or detergents in it. And I said, well, let me look it over. I'm open-minded to everything. Just let me look at it and let me read what's inside of it. I'm reading what's inside of Flu Block, and it's a genetically modified organism vaccine out of the proteins of insects. Not to mention, it's got, instead of 14 detergents and astringents, it's got about right under 10. It's not any better. And it still has the same side effects as the rest of the vaccines. My question to them was, why the flu? Why the flu? On any given day that I'm in an acute intensive care unit, I'm around the most disgusting, nasty organisms you can imagine. Flesh-eating bacteria, MRSA, pneumonia, staph. Why the flu? Why a virus that can't even be tracked down, can't even replicate itself the same way? And The government wants us to inject ourselves with some mystery substance that can't even protect us from said virus. The point of this video is everybody has to make a decision. I was told, and my question to him was, what are you guys going to do if there's a mass exodus out of this hospital? Because we have a certain date that we have to take this flu vaccine or you're suspended and you're terminated. I said, what if there's a mass exodus? How would this hospital function? And he says, we were afraid of that, but the numbers are looking like we're going to be okay. The numbers are looking like everybody is taking the flu shot. This is the most scariest part of the story to me. That we are all sheep and nobody is bucking, nobody is pushing back, nobody is saying no. The fear factor has set in for everybody and everybody has lined up to say, okay, give it to me, I'll take it. If a mass exodus had happened from that hospital or any hospital, they would not have been able to push this agenda. The government would not have been able, the hospital would not have been able to push this agenda, but everybody stayed quiet. I'm not going to take the flu vaccine. I don't care what other alternatives, organic, this is less mercury, this is less astringents and detergents. There's something wrong with all of them. You don't need to be injecting yourself with all of this crap. It's crap. Isn't it a little fishy that the government was forcing this? Do they want to keep us sick? Because there's money in keeping us sick. There's money for the pharmaceutical companies. And although everyday Americans who are working in these hospitals pushing this, they don't know that they can't help it. If all the worker bees stood up and said, no, we're not going to take this, they wouldn't be able to do it. So, for all the ones that are in healthcare and you're watching this, you have a decision to make. If you're a Christian, you have got to know that the Lord will take care of you. You have got to stand up and you have to be the voice. I'm just one voice, and I'm shocked that I am just maybe a handful of us that are resisting this. It needed to be more for the hospital to not do it. I heard it from the horse's mouth. They're not afraid of a mass exodus because everyone lined up and took it out of fear. None of these are safe, and I wanted you guys to know the facts. I love you guys. God will provide for me. I'm not scared. There is no fear. Because it's not going to stop at the flu shot. It's going to be the healthcare chip. It's going to be something else. This is how they're prepping us for the mark of the beast, guys. This is in the Bible. Because if they can get everybody to take a flu vaccine that's stupidly inactive, they're going to get you to take a healthcare chip. Because they're going to hold your job over your head. This is a test. Think about that next time you're faced with this dilemma. Love you.